Talks.
What year did you graduate?
I think 1971.
Okay. Did you have a favorite teacher?
Mr. Canales.
Oh, a lot of people are saying that. Yeah. And he taught.
I think he taught Spanish.
Okay. Do you speak any Spanish now?
Sí.
Quito me.
¿Quieres hablar en español o
Oh, wow.
inglés?
Over my head. Any sports?
Track. The mile. I ran the mile.
Really? All right. When you left Schreiner, what do you think the most valued thing did you take with you from Schreiner?
My freedom.
Freedom?
No, I guess I kind of thought of it as kind of like a reform school or something. But I did survive, and it was a good school, and a lot of wonderful people, a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
Good teachers.
Oh, yeah.
We were kind of a rowdy bunch.
I have heard that. You didn't hang around with any of the rowdies, did you?
No, I wasn't influenced by them. I just.
Okay, Chris, thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. I need your full name.
Joseph Ciccone, Joey Ciccone.
Okay,
Go by Joey.
What year did you graduate?
I was at Schreiner from 69 to 71.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
I like Mr. Ainsworth.
Did you have a favorite subject?
I guess English would be my favorite. I was an English major later, and I liked English, yeah.
All right. What about sports or art or any of that?
I swam in the river a lot.
All right.
Yeah. Rope swing.
Which river was that?
The Guadalupe River.
Was it?
Yeah.
I love the Guadalupe.
We built a cabin by the river. Lasted one semester, then the Tybee Cowboys tore it down.
Oh.
Yeah. It was in the floodplain. It was eventually going to go to the flood. It was right next to the river. Eventually a flood would have taken the cabin.
Yeah, I heard you had a lot of floods.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to swim in the floods. One time there's a good story, is I was a hippie kid, and the people who were interested in the military joined the Rangers, like Special Forces, to learn rappelling and survival techniques of combat. And when the flood came and it rained for a couple of weeks, and the Guadalupe rose 20, 30 feet in places, up to the tops of the cypress trees. Cypress trees are 40 feet tall. There was only 5 feet of them sticking up out of the water. Cypress trees. That's how high the river was in some places. And we put on our pants, boots, fatigue jackets, winter jackets, the same they wore in Vietnam, fatigue jackets. Some people wore baseball hats or football helmets for protection from going through the jungle on inner tubes through the brown rapids of the swollen, flooded Guadalupe River. This is like life-threatening, and we were like 16. We didn't know, we didn't really think that you could die real easily.
Yeah.
Because the flood can suck you under bridges. It can do all kind of. You can get caught in trees and not come up.
And you guys
So
didn't
here's
think
what
about
happened
that,
to some of the Rangers. 3 Rangers were coming along the river in their inner tubes, and a tree hit their inner tubes from below. A tree sticking up in the river, and the tree knocked them off their tubes, and they grabbed to the tree, and they're stuck in the middle of the river without tubes. So they have no way to get back to the bank. So I swam out with 3 tubes under my arm and gave them tubes. And I thought I was real proud that I was a pacifist and I was not going to Vietnam, but I saved the Rangers' butts that day. So it was a little bit of mud in their eye. That I wasn't a coward for not going to Vietnam.
Yeah.
It was part of my ethical stance against the war. It wasn't
And you were
because
how
I was
old?
afraid to die. So I was 16.
16.
15 or 16, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, was he probably 69?
That was very daring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did that sort of thing in Houston. The bio would overflow in Houston like that too.
Daredevil.
Yeah, I like to be a lifeguard. Yeah.
Oh, all right, Joy. Any other great stories?
Oh, I don't know if they'd be appropriate.
Student, did you graduate?
71.
Okay. Did you have a favorite teacher? Did you have a favorite teacher?
Ms. Massey, math teacher.
What did they teach?
Massey.
Oh, math. Okay.
Massey.
Math. Okay. Were you in sports?
Not too much.
No. No. Do you have maybe a favorite story you'd like to tell?
Throwing bags of wood off the stage. Well, I don't know if it was a stage, but it was everywhere. It happened 3 times. We're sitting there, this bag went. Roll a joint and
Throw the bag away.
throw it on.
I remember Ken Heat was there.
That was a hell of a show.
Led Zeppelin was their first American appearance, from what I remember. Yes. Yeah, Led Zeppelin. But see, I was bummed out because Jimi Hendrix wasn't there. Because Woodstock had Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin was there.
Oh, my favorite.
Ken Heat, Grateful Dead, Led Zeppelin, and Santana.
Mike Shreve.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been because I saw Led Zeppelin in Houston.
Yeah, I did too. I think
We saw him in Joe and me saw him in Dallas or San Antonio.
I seem to remember Ken Heat. There was
VW. Yeah, the VW.
We say we took Sandy to that one.
Yeah. And then we couldn't find the fucking car.
Well, my dad built the oil refiner in Cedar Park between Houston and Beaumont.
With the key.
Cedar something, I don't forget what it's called. So we were in Houston before they were transferred to Japan to build some refineries over there. But
That festival was 69.
yeah, so
Yeah, it was that same year.
So I wouldn't be surprised right after that festival or before it was in Houston. Because we went to see Led Zeppelin in Houston. That was amazing.
John Bringman. You see, that's who,
We were
that's who
riding
got me
around
there.
Dallas.
And he said, Joe and them are here somewhere.
You know what happened to John? No, no clue.
Okay, let's do this. I've been filming this all this time. Hi, I need your name.
My name is Ray Plowman.
Okay, what year did you graduate?
I didn't graduate. I went to Schreiner from 1970 to 1971.
Okay. Did you have a favorite teacher while you were here?
No, I had no favorite teachers.
No.
while I
A
was
subject maybe?
I had no favorite subjects.
No. Any sports?
I didn't play sports at that
No.
time.
Do you have a great story maybe you'd like to share?
No, I have a lot of great stories that I'd like to share. Excuse me. But I don't think I can relate them on a videotape. Because they were so much fun. All I can say is it was a special time in my life, and I'm glad I went to Schreiner. And the camaraderie and esprit de corps that I learned there in 1 year has lasted me at 58 years old and will continue to last me for the rest of my life.
You know what? That right there says it all. I thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry I don't have more for you.
No, what you said is that's enough. I appreciate it. Thank
My name's Tom Stevens.
you. Tom, what year did you graduate?
Graduated in the summer of 1971.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
Mr. McCullough was a math teacher, and he really taught me. He was pretty laid back and a smooth teacher, and taught me appreciation for algebra that I had never had before in my life. Just was a real, it seemed like he was kind of a level kind of guy when he spoke to you, not a lot of drama, and didn't seem to be hiding anything. Things weren't just a big deal to him, and he could convey math formulas and got it to where I could understand it.
Was there any sports?
Sports, other than I ran track, but I didn't run really on the track team. I'd never run before. When I got here, I came to Schreiner kind of from a bad situation, and Schreiner was kind of my opening for my life to change and go in a good direction. So I didn't play a lot of organized sports, but I played a lot of tennis. I played, I ran track, and I worked out with weights for the first time in my life and got my body in better shape.
Do you have like any stories you'd like to share?
All the guys, we hung out in the dorms a lot. And then I had one friend who one time said he was going to go fishing. And I said, where are you going fishing? He said, there's a river right behind the dorm. And I believe it's where the Guadalupe River runs through. And he was going down there going fishing. Well, I'd never really fished that much in my life or had an appreciation at all for it. And I thought, well, I'll go down. And it was such a different world down there. It was serene and away from the pressure of being a student. And I just really loved it. I was a little bit introverted, even though I was extroverted outside, but it really gave me a chance to go and just kind of chill and fish.
Do you like to fish now?
I do. I still like to fish.
Good. We're both fishermen too. We love it. Yeah.
And I can fish even if I don't catch anything. I'm just fine. I like it.
That's a real fisherman. All right. I thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you for doing this too.
Thank you. There we go. Okay, Will. What year did you graduate?
1972.
72. And can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm from Austin, Texas originally, and started at Schreiner in 1970 in mid-semester, and actually left in mid-semester of 72. I actually did not graduate from Schreiner, but I spent 2 years there. Well, let's see. I now live in Hawaii and work for the University of Hawaii. Plan on maybe someday moving back here to Texas, maybe sooner than I think.
When you were at Schreiner, did you have a favorite teacher?
Have a what?
A favorite teacher?
Oh, favorite teacher. Well, we all liked Mr. Canales because he certainly let us stomp on the floor and sing Mexican music.
Did he take you to Mexico?
I did not do the Mexico trip.
Okay,
So
because I had heard that from you students.
Yeah, and so I didn't wind up in the infirmary like many of you.
Okay.
So no, I did not do the Mexico trip. What else?
Did you like any sports?
No, I did not play any of the sports. I wasn't on the basketball team. I think I tried out, but I wasn't really into that. Nor track or football. I wasn't big enough to play football.
Are you an artist?
No, my mom is an artist, but I'm not an artist.
Okay, you look like an artist.
It's a late, maybe I am. I just haven't discovered it yet. No, I got most of my sports activity was at lunchtime, having to run around the track with Bill Campion hot on my tail for the tardiness and stuff. So I believe we did that at lunch. It might have been after class, but there was the 1 mile jog of for getting so many demerits.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't a very fast runner. I was usually at the back. So
Here we go.
You doing this yesterday?
Hi.
You have to, is it an extreme close-up the whole time?
Yep. Hi. I need your full name.
Oh, my full name, Tim Blackrock.
Okay, Tim, what year did you graduate?
Schreiner High School class of 71.
All right. Did you have a favorite teacher?
Yeah. Besides Bill Campion, who was he was always chasing around after me, trying to keep me corralled like these other guys. Mr. Griggs was a history teacher. He had a poster in his room that said, "War is not healthy for children and other living things." And he had an interesting approach to history. He said, "I will teach you up to the time of a war occurring, and then we'll pick up right after it's concluded, and then we'll teach you history until the time of the next war, and then we'll stop and jump to the starts again, in peacetime." And
Oh my God.
that really impressed me. I like that. I find war and such totally repugnant, and I respected that at that time, and I still do 40 years later.
Whoa, okay.
So it made an impression on me somehow. A real free thinker. Other than that, I mean, it was a very positive experience.
Were you in any sports?
Yes, I was. I was on the track team. Both years I was on the football team. One year I was there. What else? Don't do basketball. They didn't wrestle. And last year somebody came here and told me my track record is still intact 41 years later.
Is that right?
But I can't confirm that.
But you can't. Do you have any great stories that you'd like to share?
Nothing comes jumping out at me. Well, you know, it was an innocent day about, you know, the worst of our shenanigans, where we would steal watermelons from the fruit stands outside the back gate, carry them back to the dormitory. And if lights, you know, if the headlights of some car swept by and hit us suddenly, it might be found out in the field cracked the next morning. But, you know, it was that sort of a time. It was like Catcher in the Rye sort of experience for me.
Yeah. When you left Schreiner, what do you take with you, the value that you think Schreiner gave you?
Well, living with 100 other high school kids, and you run the gamut of personality types, but, you know, there are bullies, there are other misfits for whatever cause. But overall, I really love these people, and we all have our idiosyncratic little quirks, so I'm really totally amazed that we're all here and get to touch with each other again and can't pick up where we left off.
Yes.
Misfits and otherwise, you know, people who may have been uninvited at one time.
Exactly.
Nice to see them here.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I think it's my pleasure. The pressure was
Albert Ainsworth.
What year did you graduate?
1974.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
Probably JT, John Thomason.
What subject?
Calculus.
All right. Were you in any sports?
No.
No sports? Art or anything?
Music.
Music?
Yeah.
What instrument did you play?
Trumpet.
Oh, really? All right. Do you have any interesting stories about school?
Well, I lived at Schreiner from the time I was born until I was 20 years old because my dad was one of the teachers there, and so I saw a lot of the students over the years from the time I was a little kid, and then I went to college there in 73, 74. So it's a little bit interesting to see how things changed over time for me, and it was a real great place to grow up. Sort of an extended family between the faculty that lived on campus and the faculty kids that lived on campus, and then the students as well. So I just felt like I had a real rich upbringing there at Schreiner.
Oh, yes. You're very fortunate.
Yeah.
What did you do after you left Schreiner?
Well, actually, my family left in 74 at the same time that I finished my schooling in Schreiner. So I moved to Georgetown with them. And then I finished school there at Southwestern. And I was a band director in Killeen, Texas for 22 years. And then I've been a high school counselor for another 12 years.
Nice.
And I'm working now in Austin at Austin High School.
Excellent. Well, I thank you very much, Albert. Well, you had a wonderful life.
I agree.
All right. Thanks, Albert.
Full name is Steve Satterfield.
What year did you graduate?
1971.
Did you have a favorite subject?
English.
Oh, favorite teacher?
No.
No? Any?
Gilmar? Who? Mr. Gilmar?
When
The
she,
math teacher.
or I thought she was French or something.
Yeah, so we can share conversations.
I had a, I didn't have a favorite.
No, okay. Well, any sports?
You could call it sports.
Okay.
Did a lot of rope climbing and descending into buildings and whatnot.
Cool. Okay. When you left Schreiner, what do you think the most valuable thing that you took with you from Schreiner?
Friendship.
All right. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Steve. Sure. Appreciate it. Okay, Bryce, what year did you graduate?
I didn't graduate. I went to Schreiner in January 1971. Went and lived in Houston that summer, and I spent the summer with a whole bunch of guys from Schreiner, Hobbit, and, Sonny, and just a lot of them from Schreiner. Went back the next year, and then got in trouble. Got dismissed. Went to the Army. But I made a lot of good friends there, and unfortunately we didn't keep up through the years, but here we are today.
Isn't it great?
It is.
Yes.
It is excellent. It is excellent.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
No, not really. I wasn't there long enough to get started.
Subject, maybe?
Not necessarily.
No? Sports?
Yeah, I played football. I enjoyed playing football.
Because I heard some pretty good football stories.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any story. Like I say, I was kind of one of the black sheep.
You weren't alone.
Oh, I know that.
Okay, what did you do when you left Schreiner?
I went to the Army for 3 years.
All right.
And then I got out of the Army, got into the oil field, and was in the oil field for about 12 years, and went into business for myself. So
Good.
Been doing that ever since.
All right.
Been fairly successful, but it's tough.
It is, I know.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Most definitely.
So where do you preside now?
In Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I brought a lot of this good food up from
Did you?
A-Bears down in Maurice. That's the original A-Bears.
Excellent food. It was very, very good.
It is excellent food.
All right. Well, I think. Okay. What year did you graduate?
I graduated, well, I didn't really graduate. I actually worked as a dishwasher in the kitchen at Schreiner. But I got to know all these guys really well. No, I actually graduated in 1970.
Okay.
I should be looking in there and not at you, right?
No, you're doing great. Okay. Did you have a favorite teacher?
No, I didn't actually.
No?
Nope, I don't remember. I think Mr. Robertson might have been his name, and I lived in this dormitory above. He lived in the dorm with his family, and my room was right above them. But I always thought he was pretty cool. So
Okay.
I guess it was him.
Did you have a favorite subject?
No.
No.
It was high school. No, I mean, I was pretty good at math and science and stuff, and so I kind of like those, but nothing really stands out as like a favorite.
Yeah. What about sports?
I played soccer, believe it or not, because
Really?
I grew up in Mexico when I was sent to school there.
Okay, you're the first on
And I
soccer.
actually got to play on the college team unofficially because there was a junior college, the Schreiner Junior College, so I would play with their team and not actually on the high school team.
Wow. Okay. You learn a lot. A lot. And
Forgot that. Nobody knew.
nobody knew. If you're going to be in this, get right here beside
Yeah,
him.
exactly. Yeah. Tell
Get
that guy to
over
leave
here.
me alone.
That's right. So what did you do after Schreiner?
I left Schreiner before my time. I was kicked out of school before I graduated. Because I was kind of but we were all kind of in a generation that was kind of exciting and stuff. So I think having gone AWOL too many times, I was asked to leave. But I got to come back for the graduation. I had enough credits to graduate, and I think my father in his anger on the telephone, talked school administrators into letting him.
Bill, last name?
Dempsey.
Okay. What year did you graduate?
High school 70, college 71.
Okay. What, do you have a favorite teacher?
Probably Miss Massey. She was my math teacher, and she kind of took me under her wing, and just the way she explained things, she'd take the extra time with you to make sure you understood it, no matter how long it took.
All right. Not a whole lot of teachers do that.
No.
You're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you in any sports?
I played basketball, and I ran track as a junior.
Oh, okay. Do you have any good stories about either one?
Be truthful, I don't remember a whole lot. That's the fun thing about coming here. I did get to, I kept bothering Mr. Harbin when I first got here as a junior because we had off season where I came from, and they didn't have off season basketball here during football season, and they had the junior college practicing, and I kept asking him, when can I practice, when can I practice? So he set it up so I could go practice with the junior college during football season. And those guys took me under their wing and taught me a lot of basketball during football season with junior college basketball. So that was pretty special.
Very special.
Yeah.
When you left Schreiner, what do you think the most valuable thing you took with you?
Oh, I had some special friendships, and a lot of it, I had a lot of success at Schreiner, which I hadn't had before, and so it gave me a lot of confidence that I hadn't had before, and I was able to go out and eventually find what my passion was, which was teaching PE and coaching. And once I got to A&M and failed at business, then I was able to get into the education, and that was what I enjoyed doing. And did it for 31 years.
So you taught PE?
I taught elementary PE in Texas City for 3 years, and then we moved to Sonora, and was there for 29 years. And I taught elementary PE, and then I was principal for a couple of years, and then went back to teaching PE because that's what I enjoyed doing.
What a record.
And I taught kindergarten through 8th grade, and I coached junior high, and I enjoyed the junior high even though I got asked to go to the high school because of the teaching aspect. When you're coaching junior high, you're teaching the kids, you're not just trying to win everything. You want to win everything, but you've got to teach it the way it's supposed to be taught and to succeed at high school.
Wow.
I learned a lot of that from Campion and from Mr. Campion and from Mr. Harvey.
That's very amazing. All right, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Richard, what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1973.
All right.
I'm the young baby here.
You're the young baby?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's much older than I am.
I see. Okay.
Especially Jenkins.
All right. Did you have a favorite teacher?
I think my favorite teacher probably was Mr. Ainsworth.
And what subject was that?
English. Drama.
All right. Okay.
What, you have a problem with Ainsworth, Jenkins? Flunked your ass, didn't he?
Did you ever go out for any sports?
Yeah, I played football badly, track even worse, and it was okay at basketball.
Really? And you look like a football player.
I was the world's worst football player.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, after you graduated, what did you do? Where did you go and what
I
happened?
wandered aimlessly amongst the colleges and universities of the state of Texas.
And where are you at now?
I'm at the reunion.
Yeah. You think you are? What did you do after you left?
No, let's see. After Schreiner, the Institute, after I graduated, I went 1 year to junior college there. Then I went a couple of years to Angelo State. Graduated from Texas State.
Wow.
Got married. Went back to school at Texas Tech. Then worked for a few years. Went back to school at UTSA. Had several careers.
Where are you living now?
I live in San Antonio.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, done lots of different things.
When you left Schreiner, what do you think that you took with you, the value that Schreiner taught you? What do you think you took with you that the most that helped you?
Watch your back. Lock your door at night.
Heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
Guard your stuff carefully.
Is that about it?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay, Richard, thank you.
Thank you.
So we took that paddle boat
Hi, Ray.
out and we took a customer from BP.
Okay.
Amica.
What
Yeah,
year
we went
did
out and
you
Frank was on that
graduate?
1970.
1970. Okay.
When he walked in here,
Did you have a favorite teacher?
Man, no.
They're going to have to hold it now. Did you have a favorite teacher?
I've gone to New Orleans.
I'm sure I did.
when he
I just
walked
can't
in
I
remember.
remember. And what about a subject? Did you have a favorite subject?
Subject. Let's go eat pork.
Yeah.
Subject.
Restaurant.
And I don't think Archie Penny really knew.
No? Any sports?
ROTC.
Okay. Oh,
Way back.
yeah. Okay.
Military.
But they were
Yeah.
both. When
Any
they come
sports?
in here, they were hung.
Well, there was a ranger, and it was a military unit. We would go out in the woods. And Schreiner owned quite a bit of property, and we went out at night and we divided into two different groups, and so we were combat and we captured each other, and it was it was commando type of training. It was fun.
Wow. Okay.
The ranger.
What do you feel like when you left Schreiner? What did you take with you
I
that
just wish you had seen him last
that you remember that helped you the most
he was
in
here.
life?
Well,
I just wish you.
I went my last 2 years, junior, senior year of high school, and it was my idea to go to school.
I hope they can get those guys.
It was amazing to me after those 2 years how much my parents had matured.
Frank, he had all kinds
I
of
love
beliefs
that.
down here in Fredericksburg.
I love that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what did you do after you left Schreiner?
And when he
I went
was
to
here
Texas
that
A&M.
next day, he was
And
almost
I was in the Corps,
like he was
All
having
right.
trouble speaking.
and I enjoyed
And
that.
he's
A
got
lot
that
of fun.
accent.
Yes.
And
He's got that sound.
there was a freshman orientation. They had everybody had their booths. All the organization had their booths up. And there was one that was called the Fish Drill Team, and they had won the national championship 3 years in a row before I got in there. And I said, well, I'm never going to be on a football team or a basketball team, but I could do this. So I went out for the Fish Drill Team. It's a marching unit. It's a precision marching unit, and it was all made up of freshmen. And so I stayed on it, and we did win the national championship in Washington, D.C. So that was a great experience.
I hear you were into politics for a while.
Well, yes. After I got out of college, I went into the automobile business with my dad, my grandfather, followed in the footsteps. But then I did take a hiatus and worked on the Reagan campaign for a year. And I was ready to go back into the car business, but Governor Clements asked me to be his personal assistant. So I figured that would be a great opportunity just to be with him and learn. And so I did that for 2 years.
Wonderful opportunity.
And it was great. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. All right. So, and what are you doing today?
In the car business. My grandfather started in 1924, and we've been in it ever since. So it's 88 years now.
Wow. Wow. That's something right there in itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Must have a really good name.
it's you know, my dad and my grandfather passed on a great reputation,
Yes.
and I just want to make sure we do everything to protect that reputation.
I'll have to ask you where you're at, and I'll have, if I'm in the, well, in fact, we will be looking for a car for our granddaughter. So we'll have to come and talk to you.
Yeah, we have lots of cars.
All right, well, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
What is your name?
Jose Mitchell.
Okay, Jose. What year did you graduate?
1970.
And what was Schreiner? What did it mean to you?
Basically, foundation of who I am and everything else and etc. Are you kidding me?
My wife.
I know.
Stuart tells me I married way above my means.
I've been through several depositions. I can do this.
Yes, would you go away?
I'm out. I'm out.
Okay, Jose. Okay, were you in sports?
Play basketball.
All right. Do we have any good stories about basketball?
Oh, we actually were co-champs. The last year I was there, yeah. We were champions.
That's it. Okay. Did you have a favorite teacher?
Favorite teacher? Yes, actually. My geometry teacher, Captain McCullough, was my favorite teacher.
Okay.
He's a fine man.
All right. All right. So, what's the biggest thing that you think that you left, what you took with you from Schreiner?
Well, I would say I went in inexperienced and I came out completely experienced. To the
You're next, watch out.
to possibly my detriment, but thank goodness I was only incarcerated the short period and have learned how to play the game.
Yeah, I have to learn the rules quick and work them to your advantage.
Thanks, Jose.
Thanks.
Hi.
She's doing this to everybody, Pat.
We're
She's not going to put it in the post office or anything, so you'll be safe.
No four-letter word.
Now we're talking about rules and stuff.
Just four-letter words all the time. They want you.
Who am I talking to?
I'm Pat McGuigan.
Hi, Pat.
Who are you?
What year? Who am I? I'm sorry. I'm Sandura Norton. And what year did you graduate?
71.
All right. Did you have a favorite teacher?
Have you ever had gumbo? Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Probably Bill Campion. I'll learn more from him. English teacher.
English. All right. Were you in sports?
No.
No?
We drove around and drank beer most of the time.
A lot of you did that. Yeah. What's the biggest thing that you think that you took with you when you left Schreiner?
Probably a good basic education. Get me into college.
All right. And so what college did you go to?
I went to UTA or Stephen F. Austin. Or,
Wow. Okay. All right. I thank you very much. Okay. I can't hear. Bill. Hi. What year did you graduate?
No. Bill was our dean.
All right. Go away. I'm sorry, Bill.
That's all right. What do you want?
Could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, sure. We had 10, my wife and daughter, we have 4 daughters. Spent 10 great years at Schreiner, being involved with these guys. As we look back on a long life of educational involvement, I think these 2 years were as rich and rewarding as any we had, probably better than any we had. Our daughters surely have fond memories of our 10 years in Kerrville, and we have great memories of these fellas and have enjoyed learning about the successes that they've enjoyed in life and getting reacquainted with them at this event.
And what about your Schreiner years?
Those Schreiner years were very special years. As I said, we were there from 65 to 75, and we often reflect on where we'd be and what we'd have done if we'd have spent the rest of our lives at Schreiner, though I think change is pretty good. We just look back on it with great fondness and certainly thrilled to reacquaint with these people, with you folks.
Right. Did the boys give you a nickname?
Right here. Well, you heard about it, sure. Wild Bill.
I hear they loved you a lot.
And he loved us.
That's what I hear.
Well, we did. We sure had good memories, great memories of these guys and the people with whom we were associated there. And me. No, we reflect on a lot of things, a lot of good things that happened in our life, but probably nothing is more front and center than the 10 years we spent at Schreiner Institute.
I know this might sound like a silly question, but what really do you miss the very most from Schreiner?
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Probably watching watching adolescents grow into good young men. I think that's what I miss the most about it.
I've heard from every one of them that I've interviewed that the most that they got from Schreiner is discipline, being a family, having meals together, sharing everything together. They miss that, but they said that's what made them who they are today.
I think so. I think what Schreiner Institute meant to literally hundreds of people was, I don't know, a great head start on going down the right path of life, as far not only with a sound education, but a real grip on who we were, who we are, and where we're going, and with some solid goals and destinations. That's what I see. That's what I see from these folks. That's what I remember.
I agree. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Judd, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I am currently living in Houston, Texas. After Schreiner, I moved to San Antonio and attended Trinity University. Graduated from there, went to graduate school, University of Texas at Austin, and then finished in Houston when I moved there to work 35 years ago. Been in Houston now ever since, and work with Sutherland Resources. And
what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1970.
1970. Did you have a favorite teacher?
My favorite teachers were Alwyn Clausen and Mrs. Massey.
What classes did they teach?
Mr. Clausen taught economics, and Mrs. Massey was our math teacher.
All right. What What do you think Schreiner, what did you come away with the most from Schreiner?
Schreiner made me independent. I was, after being at Schreiner for a year, I was more prepared for college and acclimated when I got there. And it really brought a lot of realism to me, making your own schedule and providing a plan, personal plan how to go about preparing for the rest of my life.
Do you have any special memories of Schreiner, something that really has stuck with you?
Well, what I really enjoyed was playing football, basketball, and running track at Schreiner. And Coach Campion was our basketball coach, and we were able to, with his coaching and dedicated players, who a lot are here today, several are, we won the TPC championship that year, and I think about it all the time. It was just one of my fondest memories there.
I have to ask you this question because I was talking to Royal and I think it was Robert, and they were telling me about a football game, and that y'all had won a game, and the coach in Austin, they fired him the next day because y'all had won the game. You know, in fact, that same night.
I'm trying to think what game we had that year in football. We lost some games that we thought we would win, and I think we won 2 or 3 games that we thought we probably did not have a chance to win. And it very easily could have been one of the surprise wins for us. And I didn't recall a coach being dismissed for losing to us, but I could understand. That's interesting.
Out of the sports, you played basketball,
football, and track.
Okay, out of those, which was your favorite?
Favorite was basketball.
It was, okay.
Favorite was basketball. It really was. Dudley Rogers was our football coach. We had a fun time there too. That was a toss-up, but the bonding of the basketball team, we really had about 7 or 8 people on that team that year we just became the closest of buddies and played 3 or 4 games a week, and it was just some of my fondest memories of sports or trying to
So I do understand. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Schreiner was a little bit different than the other military schools. A lot of the military schools were for troubled kids.
Right.
We might have had some. But like for me, my dad worked for Gulf Oil. He was in the oil industry. He built oil refineries, and they moved to Japan. So where am I going to go to school? And I didn't want to. I wanted to play football. Well, Japan didn't have football back then.
Yeah.
And so, and I insisted I've got to play football. I don't know why, but I did.
Yeah.
And Schreiner was an option, and I'm so happy, that my mother. But we visited most of the schools in San Marcos Baptist, Texas Military Institute, and when I saw Schreiner was it.
Yes, that's what I've heard. Schreiner was, the one.
All the other schools were too formal.
Yeah, Schreiner was much more relaxed.
Yes, yeah.
Schreiner was less strict. In fact, whenever we go, I don't know if you remember this, but when we go play one of the other military schools in sport, the other teams would complain about how our hair was longer, and we got away with things that they couldn't get away with. And you remember how strict TMI was? And what was the one in Bryant, College Station. What was that? Remember playing football on that field?
Yeah, I don't remember who that was.
They had like it was playing on gravel instead of grass. But they were strict. They were much more strict than we were. And I meant to ask you, remember the trip when we go to TMI and Griner loses the key? Were you there then to the bus? And then we had to hotwire the bus.
Oh my gosh.
And then we're driving. We get a TMI student actually knew how to hotwire it.
Oh my gosh.
And so they hotwired. Yeah, the bad boys. None of us knew how to hotwire the bus. We were the good boys. And so they found a TMI student that knew how to hotwire a motor and got it started. And then Coach Rogers, we're driving back on the freeway in San Antonio, about to head to Kerrville, and we run out of gas on the freeway. And so that's not the end of the story. The keys had the key to the gas cap. So we couldn't even open the gas cap to put gas in it. And I need to find somebody who remembers that story. It was the funniest thing you've ever seen.
Oh my God.
We gave Coach Rogers and Coach Griner
That's quite a trip.
Oh, it was the funniest thing you've ever,
Oh my God.
And I don't know if you remember this, but when we go, when we would go to our games, I would sit at the back end where all of our bags were and everything, because I would always try to bring beer or something on the bus. And so we would sit in the back of the bus and sneak a beer or something, like we were doing something,
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
I did that several times. And I didn't want to sit on the seat. I wanted to sit way in the back, of course, out of the coach's eyes and everything, And so in my bag, I'd sneak a six-pack or something. I don't remember exactly, but we did that. But that was one of the funniest experiences when, the coach loses the key to the bus. The key had the key to the gas tap. We run out of gas.
Can't get gas in the bus.
Can't get gas in the bus.
Did you all hitchhike home? Or
No, we all walked up. The bus ran out of gas. This is bad too. The bus ran out of gas going on the ramp because Coach knew he needed gas. So he's taking the ramp off of the freeway to go to the gas station. It runs out of gas going up the ramp. So we have to park it there. So we're giving the coaches hell. We're just laughing. How do you run out of gas and all that kind of stuff. And so we all get out and walk up, and then I think Coach had to call the locksmith or something, and they come and get the cap off, and and then we put enough gas in it to get it started again.
I don't think anybody has a story that great.
Schreiner is full of those stories.
All the time.
Full of those.
Would you tell me a little bit about yourself, what you did, and what year you graduated?
I graduated in 1970, and I just raised hell.
Okay. What was the most, what did you major in?
Major, it was high school.
What did you do in military school?
I went out for basketball.
Okay. And what have you done with your life since you graduated?
Basically, you'll have to ask my probation officer.
Okay. Where's Julie? Okay. Then we'll start with our next one here is John. John, tell me a little bit. When did you graduate?
Well, I was a student at Schreiner from 62 to 64, but then I was a teacher there, beginning in 68, from 68 to 76.
What did you teach?
Taught math. And I was the dorm daddy in Dickey Hall for 4 of those years. So I knew a lot of these guys when they were in my dorm, and I was their dorm supervisor.
Oh, I bet you have some stories to tell.
We've been, yes, comparing our versions of the stories.
I wished I was here to hear.
Sometimes the versions are quite different.
I bet.
It was good.
What's the most memorable thing about your Schreiner days?
Oh, gee. There were lots of memorable things, lots of stories like we've been sharing, but something I really remember that was kind of nice was we shared all of our meals in the cafeteria there. All the faculty lived on campus and actually ate our meals in the cafeteria with the kids. So it kind of was one big happy family.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Excuse me, George.
Sure.
Yes.
Could you tell me what year did you graduate from Schreiner?
Graduated in 1972.
And can you tell me some of the probably most important things about Schreiner? And
Schreiner was a place that gave me direction from a family that was loving, but I had no direction, no father. So Schreiner was the best experience of my life. Absolutely the best experience.
all right.
Even though it was a time of craziness, and it helped me determine what was right and wrong and make the changes that I needed to make in order to become a responsible adult.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
Favorite teacher? My favorite teacher was Bill Campion when he taught me when he was teaching me biology, and the funniest teacher I had was Mr. Hanchy in chemistry. I remember him going on, and we saw him one time out at the dam, and he had been drinking a little, and he was like going around, and we laughed, and that was it.
Tommy?
I remember.
All right. Thank you, George.
Yeah, okay.
David Norton, of course I'm doing this for you. What year did you graduate from Schreiner?
Well, I didn't graduate. I went back to public school, but I left in 70 and then graduated in 71.
And can you tell me probably the most important thing that you learned from Schreiner?
Discipline.
Okay. And what do you miss the most about it?
Country. I love Kerrville.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
Yes, Mr. Ball.
What was so special about him?
He was really neat. He made things interesting.
Okay. All right.
Hi.
Hi. I'm doing kind of a little documentary for David. Could you tell me what year did you graduate from Schreiner?
I graduated in 1970.
All right. What do you think you gained from Schreiner?
Oh my God, that was probably the best experience I had in my life.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
A favorite teacher? Yes. Her name was Mrs. Massey. She was my algebra teacher.
All right. And what about your dorm? Did you have a dorm?
My favorite dorm was Dickey Hall. And that's where all us officers and stuff were housed.
I heard a lot about Dickey Hall.
That was the honor dorm, I guess.
All right. Thank you. What year did you graduate?
I did graduate from Schreiner. I attended Schreiner for 2 years, my freshman and my junior year. And then I came back up to Dallas and graduated. I needed some girls.
All right.
I needed to find some girls to graduate with.
Okay. Did you have a favorite teacher while you were there?
Yeah, I think it was Mr. McCullough. He was my geometry teacher. Mr. McCullough.
Yeah, I've heard of him. All right. Okay. What was the most important thing that you might have brought back with you from Schreiner?
You know, at Schreiner, we lived with these guys. We ate, slept, went to class with, played with, and we didn't have any safety net. There were no parents there that loved you, unconditionally. You had to make your own way. You were really learning about adulthood there, and it was a special time. I mean, I for years had good dreams about that time at Schreiner.
I've heard that from a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean, mean, I longed for it for years after I left there.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, Randy. What year did you graduate from Schreiner?
69.
And can you tell me what did you get the most out of Schreiner?
Schreiner was saved my life, basically. I was an out-of-control teenager, and I went to Schreiner Institute, and Mr. Campbell was a big influence on me, and it changed my life. I became a good student. I was an honor student at Schreiner. It got me into the University of Texas for a little while.
I've heard a lot of the guys say this. Yes.
It's a great school. Great school.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
I did. Mr. Clausen. He was in Delaney Hall. He was our dorm resident advisor, so to speak. He lived there with us, and haven't heard anything about him since. So, and I saw Mr. Thompson here a while ago. I'm going to talk to him. I had him for
you guys are expected
a math
to go
class.
to church every Sunday.
Calculus problem.
Yeah. Wear a tie at Sunday lunch. He says, we don't want you to go to the church.
He kept me on the straight and narrow, and it was a great experience overall.
All right. And what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 71. The very last year they had military school.
All right. What did Schreiner bring to you in your life?
You know, I realized I could get on the honor roll and still have a good time and sneak around simultaneously, which I couldn't do at home. And it got me out of Houston, where I was from, and out to the hill country.
Right.
And just meeting all the guys that are here made a big difference because we were all from different places.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
You know, I think probably my favorite teacher out of the group, strangely enough, was Alfredo Canales, who taught Spanish.
Okay.
He took us to Mexico every year on a Spanish trip.
Do you speak Spanish now?
Not a poquito.
Poquito? All right. So, what do you miss the most about Schreiner?
I think I miss my youth more than anything about Schreiner.
All right.
But we've regained a little bit of it here by getting everybody back together again. And of course, those were trying times back then. And to be in military school with a burr haircut when everybody else had ponytails and everybody was going to Vietnam, it was an enigma for us all.
Wow.
It was definitely a change from the high school that I went to before.
Hi, Alan.
How you doing?
What year did you graduate?
1970.
1970.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years.
What do you think Schreiner gave you the most?
Discipline, education, self-respect, and respect for others.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
I like Bill Campion, and I like there was a Spanish teacher named I believe Gonzalez. No, Canales. He was good. Those are probably my favorite. Was Mr. Bill Campion.
Did he take you to Mexico?
Mr. Canales, I believe, did. He took us there 1 year.
What was your favorite subject?
Didn't have one, just all of them.
Just all of them?
Yeah, general.
Okay. Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
So he takes off. How are you?
Hi, Robert. I'm doing a little documentary. What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1969.
What do you think Schreiner the most it did for you?
What did it do for me? Oh, it was a place of great fun. I recognize that now even more so than I did at the time. But I made a lot of great friends, had a lot of real good experiences, good times, both in the school and doing well in the school, but also outside the school. Just all the friendships, the parties, the swimming, the smoking dope, the concerts, the cars, and just palling around. Just a good experience.
Did you have a favorite teacher?
A what?
A favorite teacher.
A favorite teacher? No, I don't think so.
But Dr. Aiken was great.
Yeah, Dr. E really was, I think, of all the people there, the one that inspired me the most.
What subject was that?
Well, he was dean of the school.
Oh, okay.
And he would always speak to us in a big lecture hall setting, you know, with most of the school in attendance. And I just remember every time he would speak to us or teach to us being impressed at what a good person he was and the things he was trying to teach us to, you know, inspire us.
Thank you. Hi, is it Royale? Royale, what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 71. And just to kind of expand on what Robert mentioned about Dr. Eddington, Dr. Eddington, remember on Wednesdays, our class, we had chapel. And that's where everybody in school had to show up and go to chapel. And Dr. Eddington would always tell this story in a biblical format, but bring it to modern times. And so by the time you finished, you enjoyed the whole story. It wasn't like you were being preached to.
Yeah.
You know, you were actually being told a story that was incredibly inspirational, but it was religious based. And so Dr. Eddington definitely was my most. I have 2 or 3 others. Mr. Clausen was great. Dick Harbin was awesome. There were a whole bunch of them that were really good. So we had a great time. Robert and I played football together, and we were great teammates. Had a lot of fun.
It was a good team. We actually won a few games, which was a change from the way things used to be. So we were a record-setting team. Won 2, 3, 4 games. I don't know. You remember how many we won, Royal?
Somewhere around there. But when we won the first one, I think it made national news because we had such a long time losing record. And so Robert and I were on that team that kind of turned Schreiner's fortunes around. Not great, but you know, we did it good.
We felt good about that.
I'm glad you brought that up because nobody else has. That's really neat.
Well, here's a great story. Remember when we beat Peacock Academy?
Yes.
That was like our first victory in forever. They fired the coach the next week.
The Peacock coach got fired because we beat them, right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Peacock Academy was in San Antonio, and we beat them, and we hadn't beaten them in 10 years or so. And they fired the coach because they actually had the audacity of losing to Schreiner.
Oh my God! Wow,
So
that's some history.
But Schreiner was just, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
I agree.
I've heard that a lot from you guys.
I'm thankful that my parents sent me to Schreiner instead of public school. And it was hard. School was hard. The military stuff was hard.
Yeah.
And of course, we resisted every step of the way.
I got it. Go ahead.
Well, and I just can't imagine if I had children, which I don't, I would send them to a military school. You know, just because of the discipline. I mean, I don't think anybody called me having discipline. They wouldn't describe me as having discipline at Schreiner. But when I left and matured, without a doubt, it had an influence. And I see it every day in my life.
That's wonderful.
I got to tell you that my mother was the one that decided to send me to Schreiner. And when she first told me she was going to do that, she sold that to me by telling me it was going to be good for me, and it would be college preparatory work, and I'd be better prepared for college. And so I thought about that for a few days, and then I went back and I said, okay, now tell me why else you're sending me to Schreiner. And she said, well, ever since your father died, my dad passed away when I was 11. She said, you've become increasingly hard to manage, you know. So I really feel like, sending you to this military school would be good for you. So in going there, I kind of felt a little bit bad about myself because I felt like I must be a discipline problem and, it was a challenge or, hard for my mother. So at first I didn't necessarily feel good about it or feel good about myself. But after I got down there and made some friends, which was easy to do because we're all in a dormitory together and we all would hang out together all the time, it just started becoming natural and it kind of become, like all the guys were like a second family to me. So we ended up having, some great times and some great experiences. And now that I look back on it, I just know how fortunate I was to be here and to make some great friends.
I've been wondering what made this class so unique. And I think that to move over so that everybody can hear this clear, okay? John, can we move over a little bit? Yeah. Thank you. All right. Okay, could you...
I'm not sure I have the answer to the question, but I think this group, if nothing else, feels like they're the end of a generation, the end of a special time at Schreiner. They were part of a high school experience there that doesn't exist anymore. So I think there's that unique aspect of it. And possibly they also feel a bit of abandonment by the college, by the university now, in that they were sort of told their part of the school wouldn't be there anymore. And I don't know, somehow that kind of feels like being thrown to the wolves maybe. And so this is special to them that they have each other to remember the good times and the hard times and the special times, whatever they were. And it doesn't exist anymore. So it's only in their memories and in their getting together again, I think. So I think it's very special.
You said it all. I don't think I have to worry about what makes this group so special. You just said it all. I thank you so much, John. Thank you.
Glad to say what I can.
All right, thanks.
All right, we're talking to Sandura. She is part Cherokee.
Yes, Cherokee.
She is here with her husband, an alumni of Schreiner Institute, David, who is in the oil business. And Sandura is one of the sweetest people I have met. Now, you have been walking around interviewing people. The purpose of the interviews are...
It's like whiskey. Well, it started out, when I found out about the reunion, I bought the camera, and David asked me why, and I said, I thought I would just film this for you. And he said, why? And I said, well, you don't know what's going to happen, our age, and he said, oh, okay. And then when I got here, I thought, it would really be cool to talk to each one of these guys, and that'd be neat for David. And then I thought, wow, we can make CDs and give them to them. So it just grew, and it's just been a joy because you guys are really great.